Last year, Union Pacific returned to its shareholders over $10 billion in profits and share buybacks, and in the last 15 years, spent $48 billion on share buybacks. Yet the workers get no time off. The average worker works 240 to 260 hours a month. They have to work 2 or 3 days at a time. They get 10 hours at home with their families, and then they have to leave again for 2 or 3 days. Their per diem is $16 a day. And I am mentioning this because they're supposed to go on strike tomorrow, and I hope they do. This is another example. I talk about this a lot. I hope you guys realize why men are frustrated, why the middle class is falling, because this is another example of greedy companies, our capitalism system that we it's capitalism for the rich. It's capitalism for the poor and socialism for the rich. Let me go on. What's happening is that the productivity has actually increased 85% since 2000. They're 85% more productive. They spent, $48 billion in share buybacks off the backs of these workers. That's what I keep talking about. The wages have been flat since the 70s in company after company after company, while their profits are going up. And Union Pacific has a lower workforce than they used to. They're making more money, and it's coming on the backs of these workers. And workers are having less time with their families. They're making less money. And it is not that everyone is suffering equally. The elites and the shareholders, if you own stock, are making money on the backs of the workers. And that's why Labor Day is just a name. It's a day in name only. It's a farce and it's a joke. And then we have a lot of corruption, like today, Brett Favre, I don't follow football, retired football player, NFL player or something. There's scandal about him. It turns out that the former governor of Mississippi raided the Mississippi Welfare Fund, which already has been stingy to the poor people, and gave Brett Favre $1 million, I don't know how much, to donate to USM, I think the University of wherever his daughter goes, for a volleyball stadium because his daughter plays volleyball. So what you see happening is, once you're rich enough, you can manipulate the system. And they're against socialism unless it's for them, because you see, he's raiding the welfare fund for himself, but he doesn't want you to have welfare because poor people shouldn't get help. And Union Pacific doesn't want to, they don't want to acknowledge the contributions of the worker. They just want to raid them. It's called raiding the poor. It's called raiding your workers. It's not appreciating people. And I find that very upsetting. So when you think about why life might seem harder, why things are more expensive, it's because there's things happening that those of you who are very young might not know about the wages and the profit gap. And Union Pacific is a good example because I just heard this on the news and I just Googled it, so I have the numbers right here. But every company after company after company is doing the same thing. They have a lower workforce because of increases in productivity and automation. They're asking their workers to work more. We need you to do a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. And these workers are becoming more productive, and they don't get any share of that increased productivity. All that money from the increased productivity goes to the CEOs, it goes to the profits and the share buybacks. And who owns most of the shares? The CEOs. Of course, pension funds do too, and rich people do too. But it's not the majority of the workers. They're not participating in the profit sharing like they used to. It used to be that companies did a lot of profit sharing. And that's one thing that's wrong. I shouldn't even watch Breaking Points because they keep telling me things that upset me, like this. But I think it's important that we know what's going on. And it will remains to be seen if the Union Pacific managers are going to do something about it. But they should be ashamed of themselves. And I don't know if they really are. Um, I mean, there are ways to make money without taking advantage of people. But that's not the system we have. It's not the system we have, you guys. So I am all for the workers going on strike. My video is going to be called Workers, I Celebrate You Going on Strike, because just like Johnny Depp, just like Ray J, I'm proud of you guys. I am so proud of you guys. This time I'm going to finish my video. I am so moved by you finding your voice, willing to take a stand, draw a line in the sand, and lovingly say, no more. I want to be treated equally. And listen, it's not like Union Pacific is making no profits. I could see if Union Pacific was struggling and the workers would say, and I as the president would go to my workers and say, you know, guys and ladies, falling on hard times, we all need to pitch in. But then when times are good, we all benefit equally. That's not what's happening. And these workers have been, they look like heartfelt, hard workers who want to contribute. I can just see in their faces like they want to help, they want to contribute, they want to be part of the team. And they're being totally used and spit out. And I'm glad you guys are going on strike. I'm glad you guys are going on strike. I am behind you. I am behind you. If there's something I can do to support the workers on strike, I'm willing to do it. Depending on what it is. I need to know what it is. But I'm not going to complain about the product shelves being empty. Yes. But I want to know what you think. Do you feel appreciated at work? Because I can tell you, the last jobs that I had, I did not feel appreciated at work. I didn't feel appreciated monetarily. I didn't feel appreciated in terms of like my ability to be creative and do what I wanted. I felt like it was a lot of being told what to do and not being paid enough to support myself. So now I escaped the matrix. I escaped the matrix of, the labor force. I do my own little thing now, and I feel happy with it. But those guys, I'm glad you're taking a stand. I celebrate you. Celebrating you, railroad workers. I celebrate you. I stand with you. Good for you. Good for you. You found your voice. I celebrate you. All men finding their voice. Yes.